Good evening, TSC family. You can see our low level center right here. But there's some more energy coming into California right behind it. Look at all the moisture. Severe weather here in Texas tonight, y'all. About midnight. What time that comes into play? About midnight tonight is what time it comes into play. Here's from the Storm Prediction Center right now. They have a marginal 1 threat or categorical 1 threat. They're not showing a tornado threat, but they are showing a wind threat there in Texas and Oklahoma and a hail threat there as well tonight. That is tonight through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, okay? Now, if you look at the radar right now currently, not much going on there. Not much going on. You see a little bit of storminess starting to pick up, maybe a little bit here. I think it's more ground clutter than it is anything. A little bit of moisture here starting to come in there in the Muleshoe area. You can see it right here. But right now, there's nothing severe going on. And quite frankly, it does not start up until midnight tonight is when it starts up. And it shows up really well here on the models. One thing, I'm going to go forward here with this from the Storm Prediction Center. I'm going to go into other stuff here. But then day 2, we have a categorical 1 threat level here. Now, is there a tornado threat level for tomorrow? There is. That tornado threat is represented there in mainly center in Arkansas, Missouri area is where the primary threat level is. Arkansas, Missouri, back in Oklahoma, and maybe a little bit down there in Mississippi and Louisiana, maybe a little bit over in the east and western parts of Tennessee and Kentucky there, maybe Southern Illinois, with a tornado threat level for tomorrow. That threat level goes from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning through 7 a.m. Friday morning. Then we're going to go to the day 3, which is probably going to be the worst severe threat level. Now, let me make you aware of something. They have a categorical 2 threat level here, right? And they have a categorical 1 threat level in the darker green. And then a marginal threat level, okay, or an thunderstorm activity in the lighter green. Let me tell you this right now. And I can tell you this with quite a bit of confidence. They're probably going to have to extend this yellow, okay, back into Texas. Because the HRR model and the RFS model, okay, is showing a little bit more stronger thunderstorms back into Texas than what the Storm Prediction Center is currently showing at this time, okay? And as James says, if you have any color of risk, beware, especially on Friday. I can't stress this enough. Friday is definitely going to be the worst of the next 2 days. Tomorrow is going to be probably tornadoes tomorrow. But the biggest threat level is definitely going to be Friday. Okay? And I'll show you that, and I'll show you why. Then you go to days 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guys, this is not just going to go away over here toward, say, the Atlantic coast over here. I suspect this thing's going to go all the way through the Atlantic coast. Probably not deep into Florida. The European model has not showed any inclination at all of any severe threat level here in Florida so far. I don't think it's changed. I have not really looked at it deep into Florida yet, but we'll look at that tonight as we go forward too. All right, so that's from the Storm Prediction Center, and I'm gonna go back here now. I'm gonna go back to this day 3, and I'm just gonna hold it here for a second now. I'm gonna hold that there. If you look at the excessive rainfall totals, okay, this is for that day 3 as well. This is Friday through Saturday morning. They have a slight risk of flash flooding here in the yellow here. Y'all, this is a pretty high threat level, okay? That's a very high threat level. So the chances of getting flash flooding in this yellow area especially, somebody is going to have a flash flood problem. Somebody is. Now, where exactly it's going to happen in this yellow, I don't know. Anywhere within a 25-mile point in this yellow, could experience flash flooding. Now, again, it's slight risk, okay? Remember the major problem that happened down here in Texas? What was it? Y'all, it was a slight risk as well, okay? So understand what a slight risk is. Slight risk is a fairly high risk level, okay? Now, they don't very seldom go to moderate or high. If they do, that is extreme. Honestly, a yellow area for slight risk is a very high risk for flash flooding. So if you live along a stream or a river in Tennessee, Knoxville area, back near Tuscaloosa, in the Jackson, Mississippi area, you have a fairly good risk of getting flash flooding in your area. So make sure you're aware of this, okay? Okay, I'm going to exit this. All right, now this is the HR model I put up here. Now, what I have up here is the reflectivity radar. And I want to show you what happens here after midnight tonight, right at midnight tonight. So this is at 8 p.m. Look back here. Here it comes. Okay, there's 8 p.m. That's 9 p.m. There's 10 p.m. There's 11. Now here comes that system out of Mexico, okay, into Texas. And this is what it looks like at 5 o'clock. That's 4 a.m. in the morning. And that'd be Eastern Standard Time, be 3 o'clock Central. Now there's what it looks like there in Texas. And you look at there in Oklahoma. Notice you got snow back here. That blue is snow. Pink is freezing rain. But we all got rain here. Okay? Now, if I leave it right there at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go now to the... let me put the HR model back up here again. For this. Give me a second here. I should have had it up here. I thought I had it up here, but I didn't. Now, I'm going to put up here on the HR model. Sphere updrafts. Okay, here we go. These are the updrafts now that's coming into play there. Now, y'all, you can watch the timer right over here. Right there's the time. I'm going to zoom in there a little bit closer so we see time and watch everything else now. Now, watch this. Watch the updrafts come into play. Now, right now, that's 1 o'clock in the morning. There's not many updrafts. Now, about 4 o'clock in the morning is when we're going to start seeing updrafts right here in the northern panhandle of Texas. And then those updrafts move there into Oklahoma. And this is through, I'm going to stop it right there. That's through 7 a.m. right there. Now, where did the Storm Prediction Center have a problem at for tonight? Where was it at? Right here. Moving out of Texas, they're in Oklahoma, right? Now, they're saying no tornado threat. They're saying a hail threat. And also a wind threat. So if you look at the HR model now, there's your updrafts. So is that going to be hail? Well, the Storm Prediction Center says that's probably going to be hail. I wouldn't bet on all that being hail. I wouldn't bet on that. So there's going to be a chance of some tornadic activity there. Now, what does the wind, because they're showing wind, right? Here's a wind gust swath. You're looking at about tropical storm force winds of 40, 45 miles per hour in the area right there. So there comes the wind in that area there. You can see it. Now let's go backwards. Let's go back to severe. Let's put the updrafts back up here again. Okay. Now we're going to go into the next day. Okay. So this is through 7 a.m. Now here's day 2. Now we got this huge area of a categorical 1 risk with what? A tornado risk centralized mainly area in Arkansas, don't we? Now let's go with the HR model here. Let's look at it. Now you can see that those updrafts there, and I'm telling you right now, the Storm Prediction Center could very well change their thought process there tonight. Okay, when they update tonight for tomorrow. Right now, I don't see on the HR model that risk level. I don't see it happening right there right now. It doesn't appear there. And I'm taking that through their 7 a.m. through Friday morning right there. So that time frame here from the Storm Prediction Center will be from 7 a.m. tomorrow morning through 7 a.m. Friday morning. And they have a tornado risk level in this area right here. I don't see right now on the HR model that risk level say they're in Arkansas like it did. Now, it did show a larger risk level there. Now, there's a few other models here to look at here. Okay, I'm going to switch over here to the RFS model. Does it show it? Let me tell you something, y'all. They did tweak. They tweaked the RFS model some, okay? Now, the RFS model is showing some fairly good updrafts coming out of Arkansas, say in the southern parts of Missouri here, across Illinois into Indiana, into Kentucky. You can see it right there. Notice down here, there's some updrafts here in Louisiana, moving out there into Mississippi there on RFS model. Let's go ahead all the way out on this RFS model. Let's see what it shows, okay, Friday. And how bad does it get? Now, this is why I'm saying now, you look back here in Texas, this is why I'm saying I kind of believe right now they're going to have to update from the Storm Prediction Center this day here, where they have yellow there in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, in Tennessee, and in Arkansas is where the yellow is at. I think they're going to have to extend that yellow back into Texas tonight. I do believe that will happen. And I say that because of what the HR model and the RFS model is giving us here. You can see those updrafts back here in Texas. And y'all, I tend to believe that's going to have to happen. And this model here is still currently updating. If I go back to the previous run, look at the 18Z run, it shows the same stuff. It doesn't change. Okay, it does not change. So the RFS model is affixed onto that process, onto that thought process as well, that there's going to be a severe threat level back there in Texas. Now, if you look at the HR model, does it give us that threat level? Let's look at it. Do I have it up here? Yes. Let me put up severe updrafts. And let's see what it shows. Now, this goes all the way out to 48 hours out. What does it show? Okay, you look at the updrafts here. Now, which one do I trust? Do I trust the HR model or the RFS model? Well, I trust the HR model most. Now, the RFS model, I said it last night. I've said it many times over the course of the past year here since it's been an experimental model. It tends to over-exaggerate. Well, James seen last night where they tweaked it some. They may not have tweaked it enough yet because it's still maybe overly exaggerating these updrafts here, as you can see. But nonetheless, you see the updrafts back here in Texas. Well, the HR model is also showing updrafts back in Texas, just not to the degree, okay? So let's not overhype this, all right? But let's understand that that we could have a severe threat level in this sector right here. And that's why I'm saying I think right now the Storm Prediction Center is going to have to update this a little bit, okay? And maybe pull it back here into Texas some. The yellow should be probably extended back here with those updrafts showing up back here. And maybe not pull all the way up into Tennessee. I don't see a lot of updrafts up here in Tennessee over the next 48 hours, y'all. There's not much up there. So they may just have to make more of an oblong shape here, as you can see right here. That's how I would do it right now. Instead of this shape like this, I would make it more oblong, more flat line shape like this with the yellow area. I would put this area in yellow. I would. Absolutely would. Now here is also, let me show you this. This is the wind threat level over the next 48 hours. Let's look at it. Now, man, look up here in Indiana, guys. And I'm going to go into the Ohio Valley up here for a second. Wow, wow, ouchie, wow. Y'all, there's hurricane force wind gust up here now. Now, it looks like it's probably over there in maybe upstate New York, Buffalo area. But nonetheless, Michigan, man, Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, almost the entire state of Indiana is going to get probably 50-mile-per-hour wind gust over almost the entire state of Indiana. Are you guys prepared to lose your power? Because if you do get this 50-mile-per-hour wind gust, And that 50-mile-per-hour wind gust comes into play, say there in Indiana, on about 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. About 8 p.m. tomorrow evening is when that powerful wind starts coming into play. And there's what it looks like through midnight. Again, are you prepared to lose your power, Indiana, Illinois? Because you may be doing it. You might lose your power. Matter of fact, I'd say there's a good chance you're going to lose your power in these areas. Could be pretty widespread. Look up in Michigan, same thing. Power losses, it very well could happen. Now, let's look how much rain is going to fall, because there is a rain threat here, right? Look down here. Wow. Wow, wow. Let me go to the deep south, I think is what I got to go to there to get that. Yes. Look at that. 6 inches of rain, a half a foot of rain falling. And when does that all fall? When does that come into play? I'm going to stop it right there. So this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Friday night. Early Friday morning. At 3 o'clock in the morning, that rain starts taking off. So from 3 a.m. Friday morning, I'm going to stop it when it gets to 6. Right there. From 3 a.m. Friday morning through 7 p.m. Friday night. Friday evening. 3 a.m. Friday morning. So in about that's about a 14, 15, it's about a 16-hour period. In a 16-hour period, that's 6 inches of rain is going to fall in that area. Now you see why there's a flash flood risk. Notice it's not along coast, guys, here. It's not along coastline, is it? So that rain has to travel where? In streams, creeks, and rivers. Now you see why there's a flash flood risk here. Y'all observe it. Make sure you're cognizant of it. If you live near a creek, a stream, or a river in this area, man, you better be prepared to seek higher ground. You better be prepared to seek higher ground, guys. That's too much rain in a short period of time. That is way too much rain in a short period of time. So be prepared to seek higher grounds in this area here. That is going to be a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous area if you're in a low-lying area near a creek or a river or a stream. Okay, that is a very, very dangerous thing we're looking at here right now. All right, so that's the HR model. Here's the RFS model for the rain as well. Let's see how much it's putting down. Y'all, that's putting down a foot in that same area. A foot. What is the National Blenheim model putting down there? It's putting down about 3 inches of rain, is all. But still, it's in that same area. Same area is where the higher rain totals are. What is the NAM model putting down for rain? It's putting down 7.64 inches of rain. So you all can tell, in the same area, the models are all fixed in that same area. There is going to be a dangerous flash flood threat level in this area. Somebody is going to be displaced in their house. Where exactly it's going to happen at, I don't know. But somewhere in this area here, there will be people that will have to run to higher ground. And that, y'all, this is facts. The models are not lying at this point in time. They're not fibbing. Okay? This is going to happen. Where exactly it's going to happen at? Anywhere in this area here I'm circling right now. Anywhere where this, or better yet, anywhere where the, let's see, where the, I did away with the weather prediction. Anywhere where that weather prediction center had circled, y'all, I don't know why I did away with that. Why did I do that for? Hold on a second. I'll go back to that real quick again. Anywhere in that yellow area especially, and you can see why they have this here now. It's pretty easy to understand when you look at all that rainfall totals that's coming in there. Now, again, can it change a little bit? I think it will change because look at these rainfall totals down here in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Well, it's a little different than what it is here. I think it needs to go further south down here, right? It needs to be probably needs to be moved further south. And the Storm Prediction Center tonight and the Weather Prediction Center, when they update, guys, they'll update these graphics. And they'll probably come in more in line with what I'm showing you here on these models right now. All right? Now, when is all this tornadic activity and stuff going to take place? I'm sure that's when everybody wants to know. All right, let me go back to the central region here again. So let's watch this now. So this right here is all happening tonight into tomorrow morning, okay? Then we get down here. We're at 7 a.m. Friday now. So when does those updrafts start? Well, it kind of start up about noontime Friday afternoon. About noon on Friday is when those updrafts start. There's at 4 p.m. And you see those updrafts moving through Texas and Louisiana at that point in time. Now, here's a problem at hand, guys. And this is why, man, I got to wait till tomorrow morning, right? Because this only takes us through 7 p.m. on Friday. So what happens after 7 p.m. here? What's going to happen here after 7 p.m.? Well, there's where that RFS model shows us, okay? And is it right? Boy, I hope not. I hope not. So let me show you now what happens after 7 p.m. here on Friday. All right, there's 7 p.m. on Friday. Look at it. Boy, it looks very similar, doesn't it? You see my concern now? If you look at that, if you look at the HR model, there's that's 7 p.m. on Friday here on the HR model. Okay, here's 7 p.m. on the RFS model. Now look what happens on this RFS model after 7 p.m. on Friday. Look at those updrafts. They keep going, don't they? And you see, y'all, we get some pretty strong updrafts coming into these areas. So to say that the RFS model is just flat wrong, no, I can't say that anymore. The HR model, if they tweak this RFS model, which James told everybody last night, it was tweaked, and they think they've got it much better than what it was, and maybe it's not over-exaggerating like it did. Y'all, if it's not, we're going to have a problem with tornado activity here in this area. Now, right now, the Storm Prediction Center, if you just read what it says down here, and I'll read this. Let's see. I'm going to read the very last couple of lines here. Okay. Let's see. Ahead of the low will continually favor a mix of organized clusters and semi-discrete supercell structures, posing a risk of damaging winds and possibly a couple tornadoes. However, weak buoyancy and the potential for mini storm interactions increase the overall conditionality of the tornado risk. So, y'all, they're telling you there's a tornado risk. They're not really sure how big a risk it's going to be yet, but they're telling you there is going to be a tornado risk here. Y'all, there's strong wind shear. I showed you that over the last few days. There is strong wind shear. Here is the wind shear at 700 millibars. Look at the wind shear here. Look at the wind shear at 7 p.m. on Friday. Look at that. What's the lower level wind shear look like? You see the upper level wind shear is this direction here. Where's the lower level wind shear at? Look where it's coming from, guys. I'm going to zoom in here real. Look at this. Look where it's coming from. It's coming straight out of the Gulf, straight northward. That area right there. Ouch. Y'all, there's rotation. There's going to be rotation in the atmosphere. I don't think there's any doubt about it. We're going to have rotation in this atmosphere. Now, whether or not it comes to the ground, I don't know. I can't answer that, whether or not it makes it to the ground. But there's going to be rotation within the atmosphere here. All the parameters are showing it. Now, here is tornado parameters. Let's look at these real closely. Let's back these up. Now, there's the tornado parameters right there. These are the tornado parameters. Might we get tornado activity, say there in Arkansas? Well, it's showing a little bit of updrafts there, isn't it? Now, you keep in mind, what has to happen? You got to have the tornado parameters in place first, okay? And then you got updrafts come through. Well, I don't see no updrafts going through there in Arkansas where those tornado parameters are. So the tornado parameters are in place, but say they're in Arkansas, nothing happened. How about supercell activity? Is there any supercell composite there anywhere? Let's look at it. Let's back it up. Yes, there's supercell composite there. Again, y'all, just because we see supercell activity and tornado parameters in place does not mean we're going to get tornadoes, though. Okay? It does not mean that. What do I look for? I look for the updrafts. The updrafts here gives us a better conclusion as to where exactly the tornado activity is going to appear at. Right now, at one point in time, Arkansas looked like it was going to get hit hard. Right now, I can't necessarily say that right now. You look at the RFS model, okay? You look up here in Arkansas, there's a strong streak right there going through there. That looks like a long-lived tornadic cell right there. Is that really going to happen? When does that long-lived tornadic cell up there as a possibility happen there in Arkansas? I'm backing it up now. I'm stopping it right there. What time does that happen? This is 8 p.m. tomorrow. So at 8 p.m. tomorrow, might we get the possibility of a long-lived tornadic activity right there? Going out of Arkansas into Missouri, say in the southern Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky region. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't have any idea. I'll say this, the possibility is there. Because the tornado parameters are up there. Right? The tornado parameters are there. The RFS model is showing it. And then you look down here in Texas and Louisiana. When does that all start up here now? So that is what it looks like at 12 noon tomorrow. Or 12 noon on Friday. At 12 noon on Friday, okay, we're already getting some updrafts coming out of Louisiana there into Mississippi, as you can see. And then back here in Texas when it all starts up. And it starts up right after the noontime on Friday is when it all starts up. And it goes through the evening hours of Friday into the overnight hours of Friday night, Saturday morning. Okay? And you can see why those updrafts are coming through. They're going all the way through Louisiana, all the way through Mississippi, and getting there in the central Alabama region. So y'all, that's the best I can give you right now is what we got. Now, tomorrow morning, I'm going to do another live broadcast. And we're going to do it about 10 p.m. tomorrow. And we're going to really dig into these models and look and see what the HR model is showing. And by then, the Storm Prediction Center will have, I would say, pretty well zoned in as to where the strongest threat level is going to be. I still say this. I think they got a little bit wrong right now yet. Okay, I think they have a little bit wrong. I think it needs to be more elongated like this. And I'm saying that because I'm looking at the RFS model. I'm saying it should be elongated like this. I think they need to look at they look at the RFS model, and then they look at the HR model. Okay, and it too is elongated like that. You can see it. I think it needs to be more elongated, more than north and south. It needs to be more east and west look. And will they change it tonight? Y'all, they will modify that look tonight. It will be modified tonight. What are they going to do with it? I don't know. They'll have one more update coming in with the HR model and the RFS model before they update tonight. That update tonight probably won't happen until 3 o'clock in the morning. That's probably what time will happen. Now, bear in mind, though, tonight at midnight, there's going to be a possibility of some tornadic activity coming out of northern parts of Texas there into Oklahoma tonight. In that area right there. There's your area of concern there tonight is right here. Now, the Storm Prediction Center is saying it's going to be hail and wind as a primary threat level there. I'm telling you, there could be a isolated tornado or two in that area tonight as well. Now, I don't know if it's really going to happen, but there's too many updrafts there for me to just say it's all going to be hail. I I've been doing this too long. I've been looking at these models a long time. I've been looking at the short range models for almost 30 years here, guys. Normally, when you see that many updrafts right there, I can't just say it's all hail. I kind of got to say there could be a tornadic cell in there or two tonight as well. So if you have family in Oklahoma and northern parts of Texas, make sure they're aware of that tonight. Make sure they have their weather radios on. Make sure they have their cell phones turned up as loud as they can to receive those warnings from the National Weather Service if warranted. Okay? Make sure it's all done. James is correct. Even though all the parameters are in place, nothing may happen. I've seen it too many times, guys. I've seen every tornado parameter in place. I've seen also the updrafts in place, and still nothing may happen. And that very well might be what happens here. So let's not overhype it. Okay, we are looking at it. We're still in the middle of winter, right? Winter has a tendency of having a little bit more stable air mass, okay? It tends to have a little bit more stabilization in place. So it's a little bit harder to have tornadic activity during the winter months than what it is during the spring and summer months. That's just the pure facts. And to say that we're going to have a tornado outbreak, I don't see that outbreak happening. I can say that we're going to get one or two, maybe three or more possibility of a tornadic cell somewhere between now and Friday. Where exactly that happens at, I don't know where it's going to happen at yet. I don't know. I can't tell you that with much certainty yet. But tomorrow morning, I'll have a much better idea based on these models. And so come back tomorrow morning, we'll reevaluate this, and we'll look to see what the Storm Prediction Center has to say. We'll see what the weather prediction has to say with forest flash flooding threat. And we'll really look at these models real closely. Again, if you look at the European model now, okay, let's look at it now for lightning flashes. Look at that lightning there tonight. Look at that lightning tonight. That's at 4 o'clock tomorrow tonight. That's at 4 o'clock. Look how strong that lightning is there on the European model. Then it kind of goes away. You see that? Kind of goes away a little, most of it. Now we're getting into Thursday evening. Still not much going on. A little bit of still thunderstorm activity there in Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee region. Now what happens in Friday? Here we go, Friday. This is Friday at 5 o'clock in the morning. Look at the lightning strikes here, starting up there in Mississippi. Now look what happens there as we go through the day. And what's happened back here now? Now we got the heating of the day back here in Texas going on, don't we? Now where's that really strong upper level 500 millibar wind at that point in time? Look at it. Here it comes. Here comes that strong. Look at this 500 millibar wind. Look at that upper level low. Boom, man! Look at that wind shear right there. Yo, we have a screaming wind shear right there. Now, again, don't forget, we're in the winter months. We have a little bit more stable air mass in place. Okay. Now I'm gonna back this up now. We'll back this up till 7 p.m. on Friday, right there. I'm gonna leave it right there for now. Okay. Now, where is the lightning strikes happening at there? There they are right there. Now, what happened during the daytime? There's the daytime. There's a 1 p.m. on Friday. Look at that. You see what I'm talking about back here in Texas? How severe is that going to be? It's hard to say. Strong lightning there. Look at that line of lightning going through Texas right there. This is at 4 p.m. on Friday or 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time on Friday. So we got really strong lightning here. Again, I think if I'm the Storm Prediction Center, I got to extend that yellow back here into Texas some. Just based on this European model alone. That right there is giving me sufficient information right now to say that we have to back this off back here into Texas. I'd have to extend that yellow back here into Texas right there. And that lightning, as you can see, moves ahead. It goes all the way through the coastline, moves into Louisiana. Now we got more of a linear line building. Moves all the way through Alabama there. That's at 12 p.m. on Saturday. That's what it looks like at noontime on Saturday right there. So now we got the Panhandle of Florida coming into play there, don't we? But look what happens here over in the east. Y'all, there's not much left of it. There's just not much left of it. And you go on in the Sunday, you would think, wow, is Florida going to get hit with that? No, it doesn't appear to. Nothing's really happening there with lightning on Sunday. Now, are we going to get a strong cold front coming through with this? There's an anomaly. Look at it. No, it's not. All these people out there that's telling us that, man, we got this major cold front coming in. We do, maybe. We do. But it's not this time. Nope. Not this time we don't. We do not. Now, when is that cold front coming, though? Probably around the 17th, 18th, 19th. Now, there it comes right there. That's 15th right there. We're getting a little bit more cooler air coming into play. Here comes the cooler air. That's 19th right there. Y'all, this is not miserable air mass. This is not a miserable air mass like people are trying to scare people to death with. Now, you get up in the Northeast right there, up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, that's cold. That's really cold. That's below zero temperature up there. But it's not down here in the South. Now, look back here. Toward the end of this European run right here, what do we got right there? We got a way below the normal purple there, don't we? What's the temperature? That's below zero stuff. Now, is this coming? Like this European model here showing. You remember that finger I showed you last night from the stratosphere? From the polar vortex? Remember that? Let's leave this here for a second. Let's go to the polar vortex now. Northern hemisphere. All right. Now look at this dip right here. You see that dip in the atmosphere there? Up here in the polar vortex. If I go backwards here, see that dip? Look how far up that dip is here. I'm going backwards here now. Now here it comes. See this big, huge low right here? Now look where the polar vortex is. It's right here. My God, look how far south it's dropped down. Look where it's at up here. Where's it at up here? It's like up here. And then what happens? That polar vortex drops down. See it? Look how it's dropping downward here in the United States here around the 19th. Man. Y'all, can we get really cold air coming into play here? There it is right there. There's the back side of that right there. Are we going to get that really cold air from the polar vortex coming to play? European model is saying, yeah, maybe. Maybe so. If you look at the GFS model, turn it over to the GFS here. It does go a little bit further out in time. Let's see if it shows the same thing. Yeah, it does. It does show the same thing. And if I go to the continental U.S. here, and if I look at the temperature anomaly, it doesn't show it. Okay, that's why, because it's updating right now. That's a miscue. Hold on here. Let me go backwards here now. There we go. So there is a difference, though. Look where the GFS model has the colder air. It's right here. Again, if you look at the European model and the GFS model, they don't agree with each other right now. There's a difference in them. There is absolutely a difference between the GFS model and the European model. Look at the GFS model on January 22nd and look at the European model on January 22nd. Look at this European model on January 22nd. This is January 22nd right here. Big difference on the European model and the GFS model. Which one's correct? I don't know. That's too far out to have any confidence at all. But boy, if this European model is correct, we could have a very, very, very powerful cold front coming in. It could happen. It's too far out, as James saying right now. It's way too far out to have any confidence in this right now. It is something we'll watch. We'll be watching for this. Now, guys, you're gonna get all kinds of social media things out there coming up. Don't let them scare you to death like this. Okay? Again, I can tell you right now, probably this won't happen. Probably. But it might. But probably it won't happen. Doesn't show up on the GFS model, does it? No. I like to see both models showing the same thing. This is too far out to have any confidence in. Please, I mean, don't get all caught up in this stuff. James is correct. Post any questions you have on the subscriber page or on the live broadcast, not on the messenger boards. We are in storm mode. James is correct. We want to keep the messenger boards quiet. These messenger boards should be 100% quiet right now unless we post something out there on them. And you can see, these are the messenger boards. Every state's got a messenger boards in the eastern half of the United States. Okay, I do have a messenger board for California because I do have some subscribers in California. But otherwise, everywhere in the eastern half of the United States, that would include Oklahoma, Iowa, Texas, of course, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, all these states here and along the Gulf Coast and northward, all have a messenger board. And what we do on those messenger boards, we post when we see something bad going on. Now, can we miss things? Absolutely. We're human. We sometimes we sleep, right? Sometimes we don't. Sometimes I'm at work. Sometimes I'm not. James has the same situation, and so does David. Kayla, the same thing. Guys, we can't be 100% perfect on these messenger boards at this time. We try our best to be the best we can with these. But if we see something impeding, like a tornado threat, possibly it materializing, say, in Texas, we'll post it on the Texas messenger board to let everybody know that there's a problem going on. And that's what we use them for. That's what we use these messenger boards for. So stay off. For instance, there's the Texas messenger board. James notified everybody we have a 10 o'clock broadcast tonight. He notified everybody that. James posted this right here. I let everybody know that there's a threat level here. So, we do our best to keep you guys informed the best we can. Okay? And I think we do a very, very good job with these. You guys that are subscribers, how good are the messenger boards? How good do these messenger boards work? Y'all tell us. How good are they? I think they're pretty good, personally. I love them. Actually, I absolutely love the messenger boards. I sat in bed one night, laying, thinking about how can I make the page better? How can I make the page better? And I thought about the messenger boards, and that's what I came up with this idea in the middle of the night, sleeping when I couldn't sleep, and I was trying to think how can I make this page even better? And I came up with the messenger boards. Is what I did, and I think it's pretty effective. If you're on the messenger boards, you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, you're not on the messenger boards. Now, we probably need to purge. We probably need to purge the messenger boards. What do I mean by that? I mean there's probably people that have dropped their subscription that will be taken off of these messenger boards. I hate doing that, but if you dropped your subscription, you'll be taken off of them, guys. They will. I have to. I have to. All right, as you guys can say, Janie, Mary, Connie, they think they're very good. I think they're good too, and they've been a very useful benefit to this forum, and I think we utilize them to best of our ability for you guys as subscribers out there. And yes, this page is built for everyone, but it's really built for the subscribers. And I really dwell on making the subscribers that have a subscription with us, I try to make it to the best of my ability what's good for them. And it's always going to be them in mind first. I love y'all, even if you're not a subscriber, but this page is built for subscriptions. And that's the way it's going to have to be. If anybody becomes a subscriber tonight, and you want to get on the messenger boards, just message us, and we'll send you a link to hit to become to get on the messenger boards. It only takes a few seconds to do that. It don't take very long at all to make that happen. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. God bless y'all. I'll see you guys at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. It's 9 a.m. Central. And we'll look at these models. We'll see what Storm Prediction Center has to say. And like I said, we'll dig into these models real close. All right. All right. And we'll look at this European model. Is this European model still backing up what it's showing right with this really cold air coming in up here in the Northeast and across the Central Plains? We'll look at that real closely too. All right, y'all. Have a great evening, and may God bless you all.